Hi, my name's Tyler Thurman with Tyler Thurman Coaching, and before we get started with this video, I just want to point you in the direction of more videos like this and other fantastic free resources on my website, www.coachtylerthurman.blogspot.com. And like I said, you'll find lots of free resources, videos, articles, all kinds of great stuff on similar subjects to the ones we're going to be talking about today. And if you're interested in diving deeper than that, you can find my contact information on the website, but give my office a call at 503-389-3778 and be happy to have a conversation about doing some coaching with you. So let's get started. Today I really wanted to spend some time with you exploring and chatting about really relationships. Sort of going to have a context, a greater context around sort of the holiday season. It's coming up here in the States, Thanksgiving and Hanukkah, Christmas, New Year's. And for me, what really embodies the holidays is relationships. And some people have really wonderful experiences during the holidays, and other people really struggle and really have largely miserable experiences. And I just want to explore with you what that's about. My experience with supporting people to have wonderful experiences of life, kinda no matter what, which is really cool. So let's go ahead and we'll get started. Now, if you've listened to any of my stuff before, any of my work, any of my videos, or worked with me personally, you'll know I talk pretty much exclusively these days about, I call it the inside-out understanding. It's commonly referred to as the principles, the three principles, which are mind, consciousness, and thought. And they really make all the difference in the world. Understanding them makes all the difference in the world. And one of the places I personally notice it the most is with my relationships, being more and more wonderful seemingly. And so let's just talk about it a little bit. So we've got these principles, which they're all pointing towards where does my experience of life on earth come from? What is that about? How does that come about? What are the sort of the driving forces behind me being able to have an experience of life? And what's the experience made up of? And you can boil it down to, as Sydney Banks originally did, you can boil it down to three principles. Mind, which we talk about as sort of the God principle, but it really is just pointing towards our shared humanity. There's something that we share beyond the physical with every single person, anywhere, anytime. A lot of people talk about it as spirit. Some people talk about it as the unconditioned self. But there is this life force, this force behind life. It animates the body. It's the source of wisdom and creativity, peace of mind, love, and connection. I talk about it as who we really are underneath all of our habitual thinking and our insecure thinking and our neurotic thinking. It's who we are. It's the ground floor of who we are. And we all share it together. We all have access to it. And that's mind. And then we've got consciousness and thought. And consciousness really is just our awareness, our awakeness. We have the capacity to experience stuff. Like, I'm walking around on a daily basis having an experience of life. Some days wildly different from day to day, but I'm having an experience, and it's pretty safe to say we're all of us having an experience, some kind of experience, and that's what consciousness is. And then there is this thing called thought. And it is the flavor of our experience. It's what creates the variety of experience in our life. Now, when I say experience, that can be taken a lot of different ways. But, another way I talk about it is our emotional life, our feeling states, those things we talk about as love, peace, connection, happiness, curiosity, frustration, upset, anger, fear. Those are all descriptions of experiences that we have as human beings. And while we all have wildly different experiences, what is the source of that experience? Turns out to be our thinking. I often say, I first heard this from my mentor, Michael Neal, we can only feel our thinking. We can only have an experience of thought. And our consciousness, or ability to have an experience, it kind of brings our thinking to life, if you will. So we've got all this thinking going on, and we experience it, and we feel it, and we live it. And it turns out that understanding that is ridiculously significant and extraordinarily valuable to having a more wonderful experience of life, if that's what you're interested in. Most people who tune into these videos of mine or these kinds of programs, that's what we're interested in. A more wonderful experience of life. So let's explore it together in kind of the context of relationships. So let's just take, for a minute, let's just take it as true that I'm only ever having an experience of my thinking. And the only time that's really ever a problem is when I don't know that's what's going on. So when it comes to relationships, it's really hard to see that for a number of reasons. One obvious one is very few other people see it, and so there's nobody pointing us towards the true source of our experience. And there's all sorts of different places we project our experience out on, or our thinking out on, or our emotions out on. But in relationships, it's usually pretty obvious. I think I could safely say we're all pretty familiar with the term, you made me feel this, fill in the blank. You made me feel blank. It could be wonderful, it could be miserable. You made me feel love, or you gave me love. You made me feel connected, made me feel happy. Or you're the source of my upset, my anger, my frustration, my fear, even. When it looks that way to us in relationship, it's first of all, it's pretty common, but it's really the source of any and all relationship problems. If it looks in any way like my mental well-being has anything to do with you, you're gonna struggle at some point in relationships. And relatively frequently, because I'm not suggesting that you'll never struggle in relationships if you understand this, but you're not going to struggle all that much in relationship with other people, in particular significant others, close blood family, relatives, parents, kids, and of course, your spouse, your partner. If you can begin to see nobody can make you feel anything, it sure looks like they can. It sure looks like they can. But if you begin to see that is an illusion, it's a hard one to see through. But if you look closely enough, you'll begin to see it. That your experience of life, good, bad, indifferent, happy, sad, neutral, it's an inside-out job. I'm only ever feeling my thinking. I'm not feeling your thinking. I'm not feeling anybody else's actions or words. Those things happen. People say stuff, right? We're talkers as human beings. We do stuff. We're doers. Sometimes it's stuff we don't like. But that's only to do with our thinking. Only to do with our thinking. And I know it sounds simple, almost too simple. And it is simple. But it's not easy to see. And it's not necessarily easy to have a deep understanding about that, which is why I have this conversation again and again and again and again with people. It's the biggest myth in the world, as far as I can see, is we think we're experiencing something besides thought in the moment. It feels so real, the anger I have about that person. It feels so real, so bedrock, so significant. It feels like it must be more than thought. It has to be more than thought. How can something that feels that intense, that strong, how can that be thought? But it is. It's our own thinking appearing like it's something else. So it's something other than thought. And if you can begin to see that, it will transform every single relationship you have on this planet. Not because of anything they're doing differently, although over time, as we relate to people differently, they tend to relate to us differently, and they behave and speak differently around us. But you'll begin to have a much different experience of other people when you begin to see how impersonal everything is. Everything they do, everything they say. It's all to do with I'm feeling my thinking, and they're feeling their thinking. And they're getting really caught up in it. And I'm getting really caught up in mine. But the link between the two, that's an illusion. And if you can begin to see through that, it's going to serve you really, really well. It's going to be tremendously valuable in your life. So look in that direction. Look in that direction. One of my favorite metaphors, I just gave it to a client this morning, to do with relationships and kind of seeing through the illusion, basically, is, and I first heard it from a wonderful author named Greg Bear, the author of the Real Love books, and he tells the tale of, imagine you're on vacation. It's a beautiful, exotic resort, beautiful weather, blue skies, perfect temperature, perfect. And you're going out to the pool to relax by the side of the pool. And you're going, you've had a really kind of stressful week, or a month, or a year, or whatever it is. And you're really looking forward to reading this new book that you have that everyone told you is just fantastic. You're just going to lay down, you're going to read, and it's going to be fantastic. So you start relaxing, you start reading your book, and it's really, really good. And you're really enjoying yourself. And all of a sudden, a little kid in the pool starts splashing your feet. And you kind of notice it with interest, and you're like, oh, that's okay. It's just a little bit of water, and I'm so relaxed, and this book is so good, I'm just going to ignore it. And the splashing gets to be a little bit more significant, and it starts getting a little further up on your legs and your chair, and eventually it gets to be so much that you get completely soaked, your book gets drenched and ruined, and you're starting to get really frustrated and just, oh man, how inconsiderate of this person, and don't they know I'm here to relax, and why can't they just leave me alone? And it's just it's so irresponsible of the parents to leave this kid to do this to me, and I'm just going to give him a piece of my mind. So you stand up and you look in the pool and you see very, very quickly that kid is not intentionally splashing you. That kid is drowning. Now, consider, as I say that, where does the frustration go? Where does the upset go that was there just a second ago? It vanishes in an instant. Vanishes in an instant because you see the truth of what's really going on. The truth behind it. And if you know anything about somebody who's drowning, you know that they will do anything within their power to keep their head above water. Even if their most the person they love most in the world is right next to them in the water, they will push them under to try to stay above water, because they are so out of their mind. They are so out, they're in complete fear, complete anxiety, and they're just thrashing out and lashing out at anything and everything. And it's nothing to do with anyone outside them. It's because they want to survive. They want to live. They want to they want to continue breathing. And it's a simple shift in perception. And it's not an arbitrary shift from positive to negative or negative to positive. It's a shift from an illusion to the truth. And I want you to just consider that the only issue you ever have in relationship is, it's really twofold. It's the same thing, but there's two sides of the coin. And it's when you are drowning emotionally in your feeling, in your experience, you're having a thought storm that you're drowning in, and you think, and you don't notice it. You think it's something other than a thought storm. And of course, when that's the case, we're more prone to lashing out, saying harsh words, treating people we love, in any other way than loving kindness. So that's the first bit, is we're lost, we're drowning in our own thought storm, our own thought-feeling storm. And we don't know that it's a thought-feeling storm. The other part of it is your partner is drowning in their own thought storm, thought-feeling storm. And they are suffering, and they are struggling, and they are in pain, emotional pain. And you think it's something other than a thought storm, a thought-feeling storm. You think it's to do with you, think it's to do with their past, think it's to do with their parents, the kids. It's nothing more than thought in the moment. And when you can't see that they're drowning, whatever they do, whatever they say, it's going to look to you, it's going to look very harsh to you, typically. And you're going to respond in kind, almost certainly. And it's going to go down a path you don't want. But if you can see the only reason anybody ever will respond and treat you with anything other than loving kindness is because they're drowning in a thought storm that they think is real. And that's it. And from a place of truth, so I'm suggesting that this is true. We feel our thinking. From that place of truth, you're going to be able to respond based on the truth. And so most people, seeing other people drowning and in pain, and the truth that it's sort of arbitrary and temporary, and it's thought, you're going to respond with loving kindness. Now that's going to have different forms, right? One version of loving kindness might be you step back and you allow, the lifeguards to do their work, right? Or you allow the storm to pass until you re-engage. And other instances might be you engage with that other person from that place of compassion. because the only natural response I know for when someone is drowning and suffering is loving kindness. And it's natural to come from that place when you see the truth. That whatever they're saying, whatever they're doing, that at first glance looked like was hurting you, was upsetting you. First of all, whatever's going on for them, that's theirs. That's their thought storm. And anything that you're feeling to do with it, that's your thought storm. That's you feeling your thinking in the moment. And when you take two people who are together, even the people that love each other so much, that are caught up in pretty severe thought storms, where they're really feeling it, it's gonna be sort of a clash of the titans. It's gonna seem like it's of epic proportions, right? And really, sometimes horrible things get done and said from that place. And so, as you begin to see the truth of when they're in their thought storm, you're in yours, you're caught up in your own personal thinking, that's going to allow you to do a couple things. One is to remove yourself until your storm passes. And another is, from a place of clarity, when that storm passes, you're gonna be very clear about how you want to re-engage with that individual, whether it's your partner, your kids, your parents, your siblings, your close family members, whoever, close friends. This is relevant for everybody and everything. And so, whoever it is, if you see the truth of where your experience is coming from, that will allow you to see the truth of where their experience is coming from. And it really is as simple as that. Continue to seek to understand that, and you will thrive in relationships. You really will thrive. And so with that, I'm going to end this session. I want to thank you for tuning in to this latest video. As always, check out my website, www.coachtylerthurman.blogspot.com, and check out all my free resources and videos. If you want to explore this more deeply for yourself, for your relationships and any other area of life, reach out to me. I'm happy to have a conversation with you about how one-on-one coaching works. Call me 503-389-3778, or you can shoot me an email at coachtylerthurman@gmail.com. And until next time, have a wonderful day. Love and light.